What's up, guys? This is Jay from COI. We've had some very interesting things happen on the progressive side of the table. Number one, I've reported about this just recently, the attacks on AOC. AOC is going mainstream. AOC is working with the enemy, so to speak. She's becoming a neo-lib. And I think more and more we're getting confirmation that no, she's not. Um, that I was right. People should have just given her a minute and seen where she had assessed things. After Bernie had dropped out, she came out and attacked the plan that he helped pass. And look, Bernie Sanders is always going to be a hero to me, and I believe what he did and the problems he brought to light were fantastic. The fact that someone on the left actually talked about things like trade and manufacturing jobs here in America is incredibly important, considering before Bernie, any time someone on the left brought that up, well, you're being racist. You're a bigot. Don't you want people in China to have jobs? Not as much as I want people in America to have jobs. And Bernie Sanders took this on from a very left wing side. And that that attack pattern of calling somebody racist for wanting to destroy NAFTA and TPP, that's pretty much done. So just that alone, and Bernie has done way more than that. Trust me, Medicare for all, the free education, the way that he has pushed the neolibs over, the way that he's given power to a group of hundreds and thousands, millions of people to believe in the Progressive Party, he will always forever be a hero. On that note, um, Bernie flipped us off, I feel like. um, yeah, Bernie Sanders endorsed Joe Biden yesterday, and that's fine. We knew it was going to happen. He did it in a way that was very I don't know. It hurt, man. You know, what he did and what he said and what I'm namely talking about is he called all of his supporters who did not vote for Joe Biden, who were not on the Biden bandwagon. He said they're being irresponsible. That to me is well, them's fighting words. you don't you don't try to shame me to vote for somebody, Bernie. And in the time where so many progressives got on board and gave their last $20 for Bernie Sanders to go out and fight for them, and then he doesn't give us one attack ad against Biden, doesn't even call Biden out. In fact, in the last 2, 3 months, we've heard Bernie attack his own people more than he's attacked Biden. And I don't want to play this card, but Bernie, look who's paying you. Stop biting the hand that feeds. And it is exactly what he did yesterday. All out. He went he went in very hard on the centrists. He talked about, of course, about how great Joe was. He did the whole dog and pony show. Went on, and even people like Alyssa Milano said that they cried when Bernie endorsed Biden, and they were so upset for Bernie. Blah blah blah. Meanwhile, Alyssa Milano has been doing nothing but tweeting for the last year about how toxic Bernie bros are and how toxic the Sanders campaign is in general. But no, the left wing media now likes Bernie. On Twitter, it was trending. Good for Bernie. All this faux love. And what did Bernie get out of it? What did Bernie fight for us for? Did he get a few policies passed? Did he get some sort of influence in the Biden administration? What did he get? Bernie got a task force. And if you're not really a DC insider or don't understand how insignificant a task force is, a task force is the equivalent of giving somebody a job for the purpose of keeping them busy. It's like yeah, good job. Why don't you go clean the back porch? It's that kind of thing. It's nothing. It's minuscule. And I don't want to jump too much on that right now. I've never heard or seen of a reported task force that has ever had any sort of influence, has ever garnished any real power, nothing. But I'm curious. Maybe this task force is different, and I would love to see the details on it. Nothing has been released yet, and it probably won't be for a while. But it takes me back now to Ocasio Cortez. Ocasio Cortez, yes, the reigning neo-lib that she became, has actually gone in on Joe Biden. One of the first, in fact, I know the only member of Congress who has actually expressed concern about the Tara Reade allegations. She said ignoring the allegations by Tara Reade is gaslighting. She's right. They need to handle that. And what is Ocasio Cortez's replies? That she's only just trying to help Trump. Every side hates Ocasio Cortez. And now that makes me more certain as to why I like her and why I support her. Because she is speaking her truth. Is it always the factual truth? Not always, and sometimes she's wrong. We are all wrong. Hell, I said the coronavirus wasn't a big deal. I said we should all calm down. I was fucking wrong. We all make mistakes, but it's her truth. Nobody is controlling her truth. And if they are, it's for her to get to a greater good, in her opinion. Now, look, there's other politicians like that. Matt Gaetz being one, Josh Hawley, all right-winger guys, and I disagree with a number of things that they say, but I trust them because I know it's what they believe. AOC is no different, and AOC is definitely the future of the Progressive Party. As where many of them aren't even talking, AOC is saying, I've never even talked to Joe Biden once. And meanwhile, she's acknowledging what's going on with Tara Reade and saying this needs to be something that is brought to the forefront and something that's examined. She is Democrat poison right now. And again, she's speaking a truth for all of us progressives, as she's then going out to discuss the many failures of this bailout. The fact that the 1% are the ones who are going to be reaping the most rewards, and it is going to cement the income inequality in this country. She is doing the fighting that not unlike of Ron Paul. I know that seems crazy to some of you who really know who Ron Paul is, but it's true. She is taking a principled stance on policies and issues that she finds important. And she's making that a priority above the D in her name. I'm not doing this piece to say I was right about Ocasio Cortez, even though every time it's come to the mat with Ocasio Cortez, I always end up being right with her. And honestly, it makes me like her more. Of course it does. Because anytime you put your faith in somebody and they pay you back by being credible, it makes you want to support them even more. But I do this because the big question has been, where do progressives go? Who do we follow? And the answer is not Ocasio Cortez, but the spirit of Ocasio Cortez, the ideas that which Ocasio Cortez is putting out. And that is, we have to believe in progressive ideology to the point where we know that it is bigger than any one person. Yes, Bernie Sanders was kind of a shepherd, so to speak, but he doesn't lead us everywhere. When he takes one turn, we're not going to follow him off a fucking cliff. No matter how much he shames us to vote for Biden, Biden needs to earn our vote. And we should never just fall in line, even if someone like Bernie Sanders is asking us to do so. The ideology behind the Occupy Wall Street, the movement on the Progressive Party, cannot be controlled by one person. It can't be maintained by a group. It's something that has to live within us and something that we have to believe in to our soul. And yes, we should support people who follow that ideology. We should support Ocasio Cortez. We should support Shahid Buttar. Another one of these people that you just don't hear about very often. Richard Ojeda. These people who are still fighting for those beliefs, who are not giving in to the corporatists at all. And it's also important that we call out the people who are making the wrong judgment calls. And I hate to say it, and I hate to go back on it, but people like Jimmy Dore, who've done basically every one of his shows is at a segment bashing Ocasio-Cortez and bashing all of them. But at the end of the day, he's never going to say Ocasio-Cortez is the only one who kind of stayed principled through all this. As we've seen the unification of the Democratic Party, we knew we were going to lose. We knew that going into it, it was going to get ugly and it was going to be painful. But the answer that we were looking for is who's going to come out of it and go through it fighting for us? Who's going to be that politician who stays as principled as possible? It wasn't Tulsi Gabbard. It wasn't Nia Presley. It wasn't Ilhan Omar. Wasn't Rashida Tlaib. Definitely wasn't Elizabeth Warren. And sadly, it wasn't Bernie fucking Sanders. It was Ocasio-Cortez. Anyway, that's just my thoughts on all of it. I'm really curious about your thoughts if you are a progressive or if you're not. If you're not a progressive, this probably seemed kind of weird that there's such a gap in the Democratic Party and even in the Progressive Party. And it's not something we're proud of, but it's something that continues to remake who we are, to be a stronger opponent. And it is, by the way, why I am not a vote blue no matter who. When I look at 2016, Hillary Clinton came out basically on the same proposals of George W. Bush. 2020 comes around, and you're laughed off the stage if you don't even mention free education. If you don't talk about expanding public education for 4 more years. If you don't have some sort of health care plan, you're just ill prepared. The Democratic side is going through a lot of growing pains, and we're coming to a side of a party who is starting to care less and less about what gender you are, what race you are, and in fact, if you bring those up, it's tired. It's old news. Yeah, I get it. You're an African American woman. Things were hard. Of course they were. What's your plan for the country? Because it can't be I'm just an African American woman. Look, should you get special treatment? Maybe, but that doesn't mean that you need to be the president. You have to have policies to be our president. And the Democrats are getting to a place where that's a possibility. And yeah, we might have to lose this time for the 2024 elections to actually have candidates who have realistic left-wing proposals. Not just people who are going to give mouth service and walk away and move to Wall Street. We're done with that. But it's going to hurt. It's definitely going to hurt. Anyway, thanks a lot, guys. You have a great evening.